So this is the whole question of commodification of culture. So prior to the 20th century, art was not bought and sold the way that it has been over the last 100 years. As an American, I feel like I bear particular responsibility for this because of the rampant capitalism that, capitalism has been a great force for good and lifted a lot of people out of poverty across the planet. There's no question about that. But at the same time, we've come to view everything in terms of its profitability and its saleability. And, for instance, let's just take this world of music. Prior to the 20th century, for hundreds of years, there were three different types of music that were, this is a generalization, but there was high music, art music, there was folk music, and then there was church music. And they were rather distinct. There was some cross-fertilization. Composers took inspiration from folk material, for instance. But there wasn't really a problem with the idea that when I went to church that there was music that was created specifically for me to worship by, and that it was of a different style than anything else that I experienced. But where we find ourselves now, through the 20th century, but particularly now, is that the churches, largely out of an act of desperation, I think, are trying to relate more to the culture by using the culture's own tools, which is a commercial outlook, music that is bought and sold, and if it's not profitable, it doesn't translate, doesn't get into the church. And one of the big questions I ask myself is, through this last century of the divorce between artists and the church, what is the music that was never composed? You know, if there were a music that we as a church, universal, were to have created, what would that sound like? What are the paintings that were never painted and the buildings that were never built? Because we were trying to adapt to our culture rather than leading the culture in a way that would be uplifting, rather than being a beacon, not just in word, but also in deed. Also in the way that we serve the culture by the creation of beauty and things that would be edifying to the culture, rather than mirroring the culture in order to try to attract people to us by the culture's own means.